who he is collectively bargained and allowed to have as his representation. And the way that I see this, and the more that you listen to Jerry and the conversations that have apparently taken place about the two of them meeting, Jerry giving him a figure saying he's going to make him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. He doesn't do this for everybody. Respectfully, he's not doing it for the right guard. He's not doing it for the number 2 receiver. Micah Parsons is in his 1%. And Jerry views that as this is rare territory. When it's rare territory, I'm the one stepping in and I'm the one negotiating directly with the player. And I think Micah looks at that and says, respectfully, I employ David Mulugheta, the most powerful agent in the NFL. That is who I want to do my business. And Jerry's offended by that. There's a lot of ego involved here, and he's poking the bear with a player who has stood on business before. Let's not forget, Micah Parsons sat out his senior season at Penn State to prepare for the NFL draft during COVID, and now he's strong-arming him and pushing him in that direction even further, it seems.
Maybe he's met his match. Bill?
Yeah, Courtney, the word ego certainly comes to mind. I feel that is the understatement of the year. There's a lot of egos involved in this discussion between those three parties. Micah Parsons is the latest in a series of Cowboys players Jerry Jones has waited to pay. He waited to pay Dak Prescott not once but twice. Waited to pay CeeDee Lamb until his fifth season in the NFL. Waited to pay now Micah Parsons into year 5. If he had got these deals done as early as possible after their third season in the NFL, they would have saved about $82 million, maybe even more depending on where this Micah Parsons deal ends up coming in. And for that, he's gotten maybe a couple more appearances on NFL Live and the various ESPN programming. Jerry Jones is the most expensive piece of advertising this network has, and that is not to the Cowboys' credit. They need to get this deal done. The price is going to be what we expect. This is just a waste of time from Jerry Jones's perspective.
I actually disagree. I don't think it's a waste of time. I don't see this situation ending well for Micah Parsons or Jerry Jones. Really, Micah Parsons ending up as a Dallas Cowboy this season. The reason why is this: Jerry Jones is one of the most stubborn, hard-headed individuals that I have ever met. I met him. I had a chance to negotiate collective bargaining agreements with him back in 2020 when there was a new deal. David Mulugheta is also a very confident individual. I've known David Mulugheta since college, right? I was being recruited by him. I've known him for 15 years, almost 2 decades. This is like one of those situations where you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And for Jerry Jones to try and say that the agent, David Mulugheta, who's negotiated over $1 billion of contracts, is a mile back, is a definite slight. Here's the deal. Micah Parsons is a pro at rushing the quarterback, at playing football. He may not be a pro at negotiating contracts. So he has employed an expert. So to try and extradite that expert from the conversation, I think is a mistake on Jerry Jones's part. I think that Jerry Jones has met his match, and it looks not very likely that Micah Parsons is going to continue this season, at least, as a Cowboy.
The market has been set, as we can see. At best, it just seems unprofessional to leave an agent out of the equation. Meanwhile, he has asked for a trade. Any chance of that happening, Jeremy?
Yeah, Hannah, there is interest. I've checked with sources in Dallas. I was told multiple inquiries have come to the Cowboys about a potential trade for Micah Parsons. There would be several teams that would love to get a pass rusher like that with his age, production, premier player. I was told Dallas really doesn't have any plans on moving him unless it's some sort of just crazy, almost like a Herschel Walker type trade that they did 3 decades ago. It would take something like that. That's probably not coming. So reality will set in that they're going to have about 10 to 12 days before the season comes around to try to hash something out. I still, despite all this turmoil and everybody going through the playbook of how to create problems in negotiation, there is still time and optimism in Dallas that they can get something done in the next 10 to 12 days, possibly. But there are some feelings hurt there, so they would have a lot of grunt.
And you remember the whole adult in the room thing. I have a lot of people asking, why isn't it the NFLPA? Why at this stage? To my understanding, the only way the NFLPA would get involved here is if Jerry Jones tried to go around Micah Parsons, tried to go circumvent the process and talk to a non-certified contract advisor, whether it be a lawyer, somebody that's not certified by the NFLPA. But it's interesting here when it comes to the other players, because obviously everybody around the league, players, are looking at Micah Parsons to see if he really is going to pull that card and he's going to sit out the opener against the Philadelphia Eagles, however long it takes. Because think about where the market was when Kirk Cousins in 2018 signs the fully guaranteed contract. First time we'd ever seen that in NFL history. What happened after that? The next quarterback in line didn't end up getting that same sort of deal. So people are wondering, can Micah actually get what he wants and then others follow suit? It could be a huge breakthrough for the rest of the league, especially his position, if he does stand on business in that respect and, truly not decide not to play in week 1.
Listen, if he decides to sit out, that's about $1.2 million fine per game, unless, of course, he's injured. I mean, that back starts hurting a little bit by carrying this burden. All right, coming up, some trade news this afternoon as well, as the Commanders officially moved on from Brian Robinson, sending him to San Francisco. This wasn't a surprise. We've been hearing talks about them dealing him for a few days now, Jeremy. What more can you tell us?
Well, they dealt him to the 49ers for a 6th-round pick. Washington is covering part of his $3 million and change salary. So here's how it's going to go for Washington. Austin Eckler will be their 3rd down back. They have the rookie, Bill Krosky-Merritt, that they're really impressed with. Everybody I check with there loves him. He's going to play a big role. But they also have Jeremy McNichols, Chris Rodriguez Jr. Checking with people there, they feel like all 4 will play in some capacity, that their backfield could look a little unconventional in that way until somebody emerges.
Meanwhile, we've seen Christian McCaffrey be injured. Not that anybody can replace him, but how do you like this move for the Niners, Bill, just to get some depth at that position?
I like it. It's real peace of mind for the Niners with their backfield. Now you have a back you can sub in for 10, 15 snaps a game early in there with Christian McCaffrey. And if McCaffrey goes down, we've seen Brian Robinson shoulder the majority of a starting workload. I know they have Isaac Guerrero, who's banged up. They liked him last year, but he's more of a home run hitter, not really as consistent between the tackles. Robinson can be that back on a 1-year deal. So obviously not a huge investment here from San Francisco's perspective. I like the deal. I like the fit. And I think it's going to be a situation where they might get a comp pick next year in free agency when he leaves. This could be really a free rental if things work out for the Niners.
But Dart has played 4 drives in each of his 3 preseason games. That's 12 drives in total. He has been very clean. Nearly 8 yards per pass attempt. He has yet to throw a pick, has only been sacked twice. His 32 completions are the most this preseason by any quarterback without an interception. So we have that depth chart. We have Russ Wilson, Winston, Dart. What are you hearing from the Giants about their rookie?
I'm hearing the Dart's been eating a W all preseason. He has aced the process. He's a fast learner. He's highly motivated. When you talk to the people at the Giants, first thing they say, he's tough as insert expletive word. Like, they love how tough he is. Even on that run where he didn't slide, they kind of admire that about him, even though they want him to slide.
Yeah.
They love the mentality of the player. All that said, Russell Wilson's not going anywhere atop the depth chart. He's going to be playing week 1. That's the full expectation. But that leash could get shorter at some point. Dart has gotten a lot of second-team reps. The day I was there last week in a joint practice with the Jets, he was the number 2 guy in there. He was coming in the game after Wilson in most of the preseason action. So if something happens, he looks ready to step in. I mean, he has expedited the process.
Yeah, there's something he has that nobody else in that room has, and something you need